Hey, small group leaders and participants, so glad that you're with us on this journey to be a church that is thinking about and wrestling with the idea of growing young. Maybe I'm going to say this every time. I don't know. I guess I'm always most deeply interested and invested in whatever I happen to be studying any particular week. But as I was looking at this material for what it means to be a church that's practicing Keychain Leadership, I thought, this is just so incredibly important. And as we talked about, the staff and some leadership, and then ultimately the whole leadership, spent time wrestling through the content of the book. We had a retreat away where we talked about it and broke out into groups and dealt with some of these things. But the idea of Keychain Leadership is one of the ideas that I think our leadership has already most intentionally tried to pull off. But here's what we've discovered: that it's hard to do, and it's easy to do it wrong. Because as we talked about in the morning service, the idea of handing off the keys that you have to some area of ministry or responsibility, power or authority, we go, okay, I should probably do that. I can't do this job forever. I can't do this ministry forever. I can't be this person doing this for the church or whatever forever. We get that. We know we're going to die someday, right? Okay. But it's how you pass it off. It's how you bring someone else into your life, bring someone alongside you, and then work with them so that both relationally and then practically, they really feel like they know not only how you did what you did, but how they might even be able to put their own stamp on it, their own personality, even improve on what you did. And maybe in a sense, that's what really scares us, is we're concerned about handing something over and then seeing that person do even better at it than we did. But we have to break that fear. We have to abolish that idea that that is somehow a bad thing. In fact, I really believe this. We should be excited when we see someone taking something that they saw us do, that we did with them, that we showed them maybe the ins and outs of, and when we see them doing it and doing it with excellence, that's the thing that should light our fire. And so in your life group, your small group, you're going to talk about Keychain Leadership. And I want to challenge you, every one of you, to make this something that is very, very personal. To not say, how can the ministry staff do it? How can the pastors do it? How can those that have official leadership positions in the church do it? But how can you do it? Because I guarantee you, if you really stop and prayerfully consider this, there is something that God has built, equipped, gifted you to do. And hopefully you're doing that regularly in the life of the church. And when you identify what that one or multiple things are, then the question is, how do I bring someone else along with me on that journey? Let's say that your ministry, the only thing you can figure out is that God has given you the ability to be friendly, and on Sunday morning you try to talk to a handful of people, maybe focusing specifically on people that you don't know that well. Is that a keychain? Is that a key that you could hand off to someone else that's younger? And the answer is absolutely yes. You show an interest in a young person, you begin to show them how to converse with people. You talk to them about the importance of identifying the person who's standing there in the foyer alone, the person who looks like they're newer to the church, someone who looks like they're troubled or distressed about something. You just bring them into your process and then give them the joy and the excitement of actually learning how to do that with you, and then finally to do that by themselves. So there's a simple thing that most people don't even consider to be real life ministry, but it's an incredibly important ministry in the life of the church. So go through the Bible study guide, and then the application is very pointed. Will you commit to finding someone between the ages of 15 and 29 that in the next week you will have coffee with or lunch with and have an intentional conversation about how the church is or is not connecting with them? And by the way, after you do that, we, the staff, would love to hear some of the things that you hear in that conversation. All right, get ready, set, dig in.